the Steelers, for reference, are picking at 21 right now as it sits with no trades in this year's draft.
Yeah, and for the sake of the conversation, we obviously want to get a little bit of draft talking today. 5 weeks away, NFL draft, so things are bound to change. There's going to be trades. But for the sake of this conversation, let's just keep everybody in the same spot. Now, we are going to have some episodes coming out, long form and short form videos, so be sure to stay tuned, where we go through every single team and do mock drafts that include trades and no trades. We're going to do that all in the next 5 weeks. Got plenty of stuff coming on the channel. But in this case, how many quarterbacks are going to be taken in the first round, right? We just talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who could be. Although Geno Smith went to the Oakland Raiders, like, do they still decide to grab a quarterback? There's rumors that they still might do it, right? What do the Jets do? Is Justin Fields a bridge guy? Do they decide to grab a person, or are they okay with it? The Giants, we still don't know what's going on. The Browns, the Titans. There are a lot of teams that could use a quarterback. New Orleans Saints, like, are they okay with Derek Carr? Is Spencer Rattler their player moving forward, right?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so, right? So there are a lot of players. But how many of these draft prospects are seen as first-round talent? I think we can easily say that Cam Ward is going to be drafted in the first round, maybe even 1-1.
I think he's
most
going
likely
1-1.
1-1. I think if you are the Tennessee Titans, you are absolutely wild to pass up on Cam Ward.
I agree.
And I've gone back and forth with this a couple times, but the more I watch from him, and I'm about to say something crazy. I'm about to jump up on the rooftop here and say something wild. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
NFL.com said that he has shades of Ben Roethlisberger because of the way he plays hero ball. I'm going to go that one step farther. I think that if this guy continues to play at the type of level he can and show a little bit of discipline, he could be a Josh Allen.
Oh my. That's a wild one.
Him step up and be like a Josh Allen. Mobile.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", so he's a little shorter, obviously. That's why the Big Ben shade's kind of weird, but it's because he's so strong in the pocket. He's able to evade really well. He makes really nice off-balance throws good balls. He's not afraid to be mobile as well. And the thing about the cons about him being hero ball is interesting, but Josh Allen had that issue at the beginning of his career. He found a way to utilize it into his strength and actually become very disciplined this past season, got him an MVP. I think if Cam Ward has the right coaching, and I don't know if Tennessee is the right place for that, to be completely honest, but if he has the right coaching to send him on the league, this guy could be an MVP caliber player.
Yeah, I think there's unbelievable talent and top side for Cam Ward. And honestly, obviously you see all the Cyclone stuff behind me here. Witnessing what he did in the Pop-Tart Bowl in the first half was just like beyond electric. It was really, really cool to get to see because I didn't watch that many Miami games. Obviously, that's the process that we're going through now, but live in person, like kind of taking on who's Iowa State got this week. Boom, it's Miami. Holy cow, this guy is absolutely unbelievable. Immediately goes up in draft stock for myself right away. And so I think Cam Ward is going 1-1. The conversation around Shedeur is a wild one. I don't know if he really deserves to be that high up, but right now I don't hate him being potentially the second quarterback off the board. I think Jaxson Dart is very, very solid prospect. Quinn Ewers, that is out of Texas. Kyle McCord from Syracuse, another big name to look for. And then Jalen Milroe, I'm pretty sure he ran like a 4.11 by the Alabama Twitter today.
Wasn't that fast, but I think it was 4.39. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, based on the video, I think that they maybe looked at the numbers and said what looks good in the tweet.
Flat.
You got to put the U after there, and it's like, oh well, technically it wasn't official. Neither here nor there. So obviously, but Jalen Milroe in games is pulling away from teams. So I'm not saying he's slow. I'm just actually kind of clowning their social media because I was like, that was not a 4.3, whatever. And then there's other big names. There's tons of names here. Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard. I cannot believe that Will Howard is this low on this list. He looked terrible at the combine, but like,
you know who else looked terrible at the combine? JJ McCarthy last year.
Yeah, like they're throwing to guys that they just aren't familiar with. The timing's off and the actual distance and like everything about that. Right. So it's just an opportunity to get upside potentially. But the way I look at it is these guys are going to be more focused on their tape anyways. So to see the draft stock fall that much, it makes sense for me. So out of all of those dudes, yeah, I don't think all of those will go in the first
No,
round. So the Steelers have
no.
an opportunity to take like that would be can you imagine if all of those guys got taken in the first round? There'd be some panic buttons being hit all over the place. And so the Steelers can absolutely get a really solid quarterback talent at I think they're what I say 21, and you could even trade up a little bit if there's some pressure. But I don't see a ton of pressure. So like maybe it's the this is CBS's model. I don't think that this is accurate, but the way that it lays it out, it's like Jalen Milroe and Will Howard. Apparently, Will Howard's going like the freaking 5th round based on this. Like those
That's
are
probably true.
steals. Yeah,
It's
you could
probably
probably
true.
get him. I think he's first round talent, but you could probably get him in the second or third round, and still be. I mean, you could be cooking with that gas.
When it comes to quarterbacks, you can get them, even though they might be seen as a second or third round talent, you can get them in the 4th and 5th round because of leverage, because you know that 12
Yeah, that's
teams
true.
aren't going to draft a quarterback. So you know that you have other teams that are going to prioritize defensive line, edge, wide receiver, cornerback, so you can keep pushing the quarterback down the line. That's the
Yeah.
reason why that happens. It's not because of them sucking. Like, it has nothing to do with if Will Howard goes in the 5th round, like, doesn't mean that he's a 5th round type of quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson won Super Bowls at Seattle, and he was a 3rd round pick. I mean, that just happens. I will say this though, I did see something on social media talking about the Steelers, since we are on that topic, about maybe him having a conversation, and they did a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jalen Milroe and the Steelers.
Mhm.
One thing that they say about Jalen Milroe of why he is not a great quarterback for the NFL is his hand size. Do you remember the last quarterback they said that about?
Was it Senor
Kenny
Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett?
Yeah. So would that make Steelers fans a little bit anxious? I think it might. I think it
Yeah.
might. Shedeur Sanders is an interesting one. I agree with you as well. But to me, I think he fits the idea of what some of these top round teams are trying to build.
Oh
Look what he
yeah.
did at
No,
Jackson State.
definitely.
He had not the greatest talent around him, found a way to win. Now, was at the FCS level? Sure, got you. But going to Colorado was a terrible team in the Big 12 before Dion and Shedeur brought them over. And in his first year, they found a way to win some games against Nebraska, TCU. Like, they found a way to do that.
Yeah, the TCU one was awesome.
It was an insane game, right? And it definitely changed the narrative to how people thought about Colorado moving forward, although they didn't make a bowl game that year. But it was still an exciting time to be a college fan. Shedeur Sanders was right in the front of that. If you go to PFF grades, out of 306 qualified quarterbacks, he had a 90.9 grade. That was the 8th best quarterback in all of college football last year. He did that with a Colorado team that, I mean, wasn't amazing. I mean, in 2 years, they completely
No,
revamped that
yeah.
entire roster, right? They told people to leave. What was the thing Deion Sanders said, that he brought his own Louis Vuitton or whatever the case is?
Yeah,
He had some quotes. He had some.
he had
Quotes.
some
He's
exodus.
always
Yeah.
got quotes. He's always got quotes,
I
right?
love that man though. He is
I do
awesome.
too. I love what he's doing with the game. Regardless, I think Shedeur Sanders, if he goes to one of those teams that need a quarterback to rely on, like the Cleveland Browns, like the New York Giants, he can change the culture. And if that
Yeah.
team needs to continue to build around him before they're successful first, I think he's a patient enough quarterback to do that. Now, if he goes to New York, you're going to hear some crazy press conferences. There's no doubt about that. Can you imagine Shedeur Sanders in New York media? Like, that's going to be wild.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, I can't. So then what you're saying is it's probably Cam 1. This is all preemptive, kind of
Shedeur
wrapping
2.
this
I
whole
think
thing
it's
up.
Cam
Yep.
1, Shedeur 2. Yeah, it's a crazy show here.
And then I think probably Dart 3, and then or maybe Ewers.
Rushing up it. Now, I don't think
Ewers or
Ewers.
Dart.
I could see
Or
Ewers being a 7th
6,
round draft pick,
7.
my dude.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. Then
Yeah.
I was just gonna throw in like Milroe. I think Howard is better than Milroe. Like McCord put up wild numbers at Syracuse. Those are all kind of like, it's like which QB fits your model best. You
Yep.
know, it's not necessarily talent at that point. It's like which strengths do we want to build around? What kind of program do we want to run? And so I think that's a great opportunity for the Steelers to have if they end up not going with Aaron Rodgers, or picking up Joe Milton for basically you have to sell the farm for him apparently. And I think that's the right move. I think the dude's an absolute baller.
You just
But
want the farm, man.
I would like the farm. I certainly would, and a windshield wiper. But at the end of the day, I think the Steelers have options. I don't think if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm not concerned right now. And who's the I'm blanking on his name that they've got right now that they're thinking
Mason
about wheeling
Rudolph,
out.
baby.
Mason Rudolph. Yes, I knew it had an M in it. Mason Rudolph. Like Steelers fans seem to be okay with that as well. So it's a good spot to be in if you're a Steelers fan.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm trading back and drafting the quarterback in the second round because I think the only for sure quarterbacks that are going in round one are Cam and Shedeur. I think Jaxson Dart finds a way to go up to get into the first round as well, maybe. But when you look at the rest of the draft and how it lines up, I think that we're going to get maybe 3 at most. If I'm the Steelers, I'm trading back or trading back into the top of the second round at the beginning of Friday and then taking my quarterback of choice that's left, like a Jalen Milroe, like a Will Howard, like a
Similar to the Bills last year, right?
What's that?
Similar to the Bills last year, trading back from I think they traded away the Worthy pick, didn't they?
Yep, they did. Yep.
They were like
trading with the
first
Chiefs
pick
and moving back.
round 2.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so that's something that I would do if I was the Steelers, build a little more capital or make your pick in round 1 that's not a quarterback and then trade back into the top of the second, whatever the case may be. But either way, I don't think the Steelers should draft a quarterback round 1. I think they have the leverage being in the 20s not to do that. But you never know because last year, did you expect Michael Penix to get drafted by the Falcons? Because I certainly didn't.
That was a shocker. I will say, though, like I said, I've said this on the show. I thought that was a good pick. I thought the Patriots could have taken him. I thought, but nobody really saw it coming. That there was a lot of uproar about that one.